tonight are Wayne from Westwind Survival and Matt from Matt's Matt Ace Prepping and Survival, aka Matt's.
That's right, Maps in the house.
Wayne from Westwind Survival and oh man, I did it again. Hold on, gotta click a button. Matt from Matt's. See, I introduced y'all twice.
That's all right. I like the echo.
Yeah, there we go. How's everybody out in the chat? Who we got out here? Start at the top. See who made it in here first. Of course, Chipper, Just Aid. If just hold on to the link. I emailed it to you too, Adrian. Just Aid. So if you want, just jump in when you feel. Hey Daniel, Lily's mom, Eric. Daniel, I got a new gun. Did y'all see Daniel's new gun yet? You also go check out the new gun. He's not going to enjoy it. He's going to get tired of it. It's got this thing sticking out the end of it that makes a bunch of noise. Don't think he's going to be satisfied with it. He was calling it a barrel or something. Hey, Grouchy dude. That's who else. Let me drop you. Hey, did you want to try to get in here? No, you're at work. Are you at work? I don't know. Hold on. I may have sent out too many invites already. Frank, there's the other one I haven't said hey to. I think that's everybody. Okay, now that all that's out of the way, hey C103. No, that's actually a good looking gun, Daniel. I like that. But you know that little X, it's kind of a small square. It's like a 3x5 right in the middle of the target. That's where you want the little white dots to appear. I'm just saying. You might work on that. I'm not judging. I'm just saying that, you would probably want to work on that. I aim for the outer ring. That way I feel better about it when I hit it. Kentucky. Okay, tonight's conversation, believe it or not, is sponsored to y'all or brought to y'all by another YouTube channel. There's a guy who is very dry in his videos. He's I don't know what the word for it is. He's no fluff, no muff, nothing like that. He says, okay, this is what we're going to talk about. He talks about it, and he goes up. He's I believe stolid would be the right word. He's dry anyway. It's Penny University. I don't know how many of y'all people follow it, but Penny University on YouTube. He did, or it's not a new video, but it was a video on the 10 myths that all preppers believe or whatever. And one of the big ones is that there is a right and wrong answer for whether you should bug in or bug out. Whether bugging in is right or whether bugging out is right. He said that's the myth is that there's a right answer to that. And his argument was that there isn't. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about tonight a little bit. And then another one, his number, he always does 10 things, but then he throws in a bonus, sometimes 2 bonuses. But this one, the bonus was the number 11 was the myth that after SHTF, there's not going to be a government. His argument is that, and I agree with him, is that it doesn't matter what happens throughout the history of mankind, the bosses have always managed to survive. And there's always bosses. So there will always be a government. We'll get more into that towards the end of the thing or whatever. But yeah, as nice as it would be, I for one am realistic in understanding that human beings cannot self-govern, because what this individual believes to be his rights and liberties interfere with this other person's rights and liberties, so that they'll be fighting. Hatfields and McCoys, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I mean, just there's all kinds of examples out there. So, all that being said, we have anybody else sneak in on it? All right. These guys didn't get a lot of heads up on this. I pretty much invited them. They said yeah, and then after they said they'd be here, 5 minutes before I turned the thing on, I sent them what the topic was.
Well, I can tell you this, Russ. I could chime in on this. First of all, I don't think there is a right or wrong for bugging in or bugging out. I think it depends on the actual situation at hand. I mean, me personally, first off, I'd rather bug in until I had to bug out, right? Because I got all my food, my supplies, my shelter, water, ammunition, everything I need in one place. I'm not bugging out unless I have absolutely no choice, unless shit really gets that bad that I have to leave, then I'll bug out. And if I do have to bug out, I have another location that I would go to where I would plan on bugging in. Again, unless I had no choice, my option would always be to bug in unless I have to, leave. You leave a lot behind when you choose to take off into the world. I think too many people then just, I mean, not that you shouldn't be prepared for that. You should, but you need to be prepared. You should be prepared to stay in first. That's my opinion anyway, because you're leaving a lot behind when you leave. Of course, unless you live in a city area like where I currently live, you're bugging out. You really don't have a choice. So
you're saying that for you, the idea of bugging out is can be in stages. First, you've got, I'm leaving this secured location for a secondary secured location.
Exactly.
And then if all that fails, the other is I'm leaving my secure location to hope for the best out there because everything has really completely fallen apart.
Yeah, pretty much. If I'm leaving that second location, my next bet is to try. Now I have to try to acquire by whatever means I have to, now a third location or another location for me and my family. And, for those out there that like to work in groups, your group, group to meet up at. Me personally, like I said, you leave a lot behind when you leave your initial location. So I like to do it in stages, and I think that's really, for me, I think that's the best route. And again, I think it depends a lot on your current location where you live. On the new place where I'm going is a much more suitable for bugging in. Where I currently am here in New York, pretty much I have to be 10 steps ahead of the game to bug out. Because I only have two ways out. I can either steal a boat and float away, or I got to drive through Manhattan Island to get off Long Island. So I'm in a tough spot where I am, and I think there's a lot of people out there that might be in similar situations. If you're in a bigger city, bugging in and bugging out are both. It's going to be a little hard at best.
Yeah, see, that
makes any sense.
Yeah, at one point in my life, I had to walk from the northern city limit sign of Lubbock, Texas, to almost the southern city limits of Lubbock, Texas. And it ain't nowhere near the size of Dallas, Fort Worth, or Austin, or, well, actually, maybe the town proper is, but the urbanized area, and it was literally, I got on this road and I walked from one side of town all the way to the other side of town. Took me 2.5 hours stepping it off. I mean, I was getting it. I wasn't dragging my feet. I was walking fast. There's no way the way the city's grown now, I would have to add on, and this is perfect situation, rule of law, not having to worry about anything. There was about 20 blocks there that I was sweating bullets, but now there'd be closer to 30 or 5 or 40 of them. But it gets further as the town gets bigger. Without the rule of law, it's going to be more dangerous. So places like Lubbock and towns like that, sprawled out, built on the ground with big roads straight in and straight out, it's possible to get out of those. I don't see people getting out of New York City, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, Houston, Phoenix, Las Vegas, LA, San Francisco, Portland.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I'll tell you right now, you're right. Nobody's coming out of New York West, especially where I'm on Long Island, because to get out off Long Island, like I said, you either have to somehow know how to steal a helicopter, own or steal a boat, or you got to go through Manhattan. And then from Manhattan, you got to make your choices where you got to go from there, whether you're going to go through Jersey, where you want to go upstate. You got different choices you got to make before you can even get off the island. So that's what I'm saying. I think it's a really different. When there's more city places, it's difficult. I mean, and that's why I chose. Not everybody here knows, but I've my new local homestead is going to be. The reason I chose it's a great bugged spot, and I also have 3 to 4, we'll say, other locations, north, south, and west, where I could go in the event that I had to leave, and then, take it from there. But I think in the cities, it's going to be real tough. I think it's going to be tough for everybody.
What about you, Wes Wynn? What do you think about bugging in, bugging out?
Well, I agree that there isn't really a perfect answer. It really depends on your location, your situation. Where I'm at right now, I'm on a small island. It's a military community, mostly military, mostly veterans. And there's one bridge on and off the island. And there's a lot of farmland. We got water on both sides, a lot of fishing. It doesn't make sense to leave because I would have to go through 5 or 6 different communities, and some of them are pretty large. And the general consensus is, more people, more problems. So I think I'm pretty well insulated where I'm at, but where I'm moving down in San Diego, we're not living in the city. We're on the outskirts. We're one of the last places, as far as population wise, on the outskirts, we'll be able to get. We could bug out if we needed to, but the people in the inner city or the people stuck in a lot of the other areas, they're not going to. That highway is gridlocked on a daily basis. I don't see how people are going to be able to get out of there. And I would rather bug in if I could, but if something happened in that area, I definitely want to be ahead of the situation and get out.
It's the thing. I mean, that's where all the arguments start. I mean, it's not odd that we would all be in the same mindset about this, because that's why we're running together, is because we kind of think together. It's how do you define bugging out? For me, I mean, people call where I'm living, they would call this my bug out location. They would say, well, you're already bugged out. You blah, blah, blah. You moved out in the country. No, this is where I live. To me, bugging out is an inch bag situation where I got to jump on, I grab my I'm never coming home bag, and I run out and eat bushes and rats and lizards. It's not an ideal situation. Bugging out to me would be like seriously the last thing I would want to do. Now, me and Mrs. were talking about it, and I asked her, and considering this is where we live, so we're bugging in, okay? And her deal was, we know the area. That's, the pros to bugging in, or we know the area. our preps are here. We've got all of our stuff stored here. We know how to secure this place. It's easier to secure than some place that we didn't know. Because to us, bugging out is leaving our preps. You know, we're not bugging out of the city and coming out to our country home. We live here. And those of us that, or those around us that are expected to show up in SHTF know this place. They know the roads here. They know, so staying here is like the best plan for us. Some of the cons to actually bugging in, depending on the length of time of the problem or whatever. So you've only got so much stuff. We would go through every stick of wood on the backside of this property in 1 year. It's farmland around us. Where are we going to get to wood? And another con was that there's out on the road, there's always going to be more trouble than at home. You know, for us, honestly, bugging out is like, okay, grab your crap, let's go. Our bug out bags are take us get home bags. You know, we keep our bug out bags with us. So like if we've got to get home from Georgia or Tennessee or Oklahoma or New Mexico or Austin, Texas or something, we've got something to work with. We basically have overglorified get home bags because we've gambled on being able to stay here. So we don't want to bug out. For us, bugging out, the only pros to bugging out is I wrote down, you don't die from whatever you are bugging from. I mean, if you have a place to go, you have help. We were talking about that because the fact that, you know, we've met people now, we know other people around, and we're meeting more that think the way we think and are willing to, you know, hey, let's pool our resources. We're hoping we got enough time to actually pool some stuff, because the last thing you want to do is meet somebody and then 2 weeks later show up to the house and go, hey, I brought my AR and 4 magazines. We good? Because it's not going to go well. And bugging out this area, the cons were, this was my answer, there's going to be lots of suck. Cold, bugs, snakes, ants, rats, cannibals. And then getting there to wherever it is you're going to be trying to go to. I mean, you know, for me, I'm allergic to stings. So if I get hit by a scorpion, I take a Benadryl. And they get hit by a wasp, I take a Benadryl. And they get hit by another scorpion. Do I take another Benadryl? Because by now I'm asleep on the side of the road, you know, waiting for somebody to find me. Because between the sting and the antihistamine, it usually wipes me out. I mean, I can fight through it, and you would think the adrenaline would push me through or whatever. But, you know, if you've taken 2 Benadryl for this and 2 Benadryl for that, so you're double whammied. I mean, I'm tough, but I don't think I'm that tough. Heaven forbid it's something, you know, like a honey, or not a honeybee, but a bumblebee or something, I got to EpiPen myself, because then it's really going to be crap. You see these people hit themselves with EpiPen and they're like, it's all good. No, that's not the way it works. Not for some of us anyway. But you got anything else on bugging out there, Matt?
Yeah, well, I mean, something that I think that a lot of people don't consider either, when they're planning to bug out, it takes a lot of time and planning. Everybody says, we're going to make a bug out bag and we're going to leave. But you got to, like you were mentioning about getting stung by bees and scorpions and stuff off the beaten trail. You know, the place that my new location, you're about an hour from a main road. You know, a lot of people don't think I got a lot of dirt roads you got to go through. A lot of people got to take that into consideration. A lot of people don't, when they're grabbing a bug out bag, they don't always think about, well, hey, I'm going to hit the road on my bug out bag. What do I got to go through? Where the terrain, all the terrain I got to go through? How long is it going to take me to get there? Have I ran any drills with my family? Is my family prepared to do that? It's very easy. Too many people, I mean, everybody talks about complacency, but too many people spend all this time focusing on their bug out bags. But then when the shit hits the fan, their family's not prepared to go. They might be prepared to go, but their family's not prepared to go. They don't know how to go about it. Their kids, wife and or husbands, depending on who's running the show, might not be on the same page. And now it's happening. Now what do? That happens a lot. I mean, I talk to a lot of people that talk to me about bug out bags, but they have no idea how they really plan, where they're planning on going, the routes that they're planning that they got to go through. I mean, that all needs to be planned out. Bugging out's a lot more than just, hey, let me hop on by foot on a vehicle and go. I mean, God forbid, if you got to do that, you got to do that. But, the first things first, everybody should remember, if you can go by vehicle, go by vehicle. You should have, if you're going to have a bag in your truck, have a bag in your truck on foot. You don't want, and then wife carrying another 70 pounds, and then your 8-year-old son carrying another 50 pounds. I don't think enough people really plan for that stuff, That's my opinion on it anyway.
Well, I'm lagging us out here a little bit. Free up some bandwidth real quick. Okay. That might be better, it might not. I mean, I rank the whole thing.
Is a series of stings the most deadly?
For me, is a series of stings the most deadliest cause of her death? If that's to me, Kentucky, the most plausible cause of death for me in SHTF is rattlesnake bite or scorpion sting. Scorpion or bumblebee. Bumblebees are Satan's Wesley dye bomber. They hurt. I can make about 35 feet before I hit the ground.
I'm worried clowns might come and get me. I hate clowns.
Yeah. And I don't get it. I mean, I'm freaking scared to death. Well, no, that's not true. I'm not scared of them. I don't run from them, but I give a lot of respect to bumblebees. And I paint everything I get my hands on, well, I used to before I decided I was a camo kind of guy. Everything I had was yellow and black. The end. And not Wolverine yellow and black, because pretty sure Wolverine had some issues. But Bumblebee. I mean, on my motorcycle, I called it Bumblebee. It had Bumblebee written on it. Pretty cool motorcycle. Painted it so. But yeah, bumblebees, scorpions, and wasps. I've actually allowed myself. I'm not as susceptible. I don't know if that's right or not. I don't always have to take antihistamine for the wasp stings anymore. Depends on how hard they hit me. So red ants don't bite me or bother me hardly anymore either. Now I just get a lot of swelling and pain.
Yeah, that's something I got to get used to moving down south. Is in the house there's freaking mud wasps, make the nests on the walls everywhere, all kinds of crazy wasps and freaking shit in the garage that flies around and stings you with a nest this big. I don't like. I'll set them things on fire. Dragon's breath. I don't like any of them things.
Now, you allergic to anything, Wayne?
Now that I know of, my tolerance might be lowered for bumblebees now. I got stung 23 times once. That felt like I got bit by a rattlesnake. At that point, I could feel the venom pulsating through my blood. I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital.
Oof, rough.
Friend of mine got hit 20-something times by bumblebees. He was running a bush hog. and it was on a piece of property he just bought, and he kind of went over a stump that had the bumblebees in it, and he hit the nest, but then the, what do you call it? The bush hog grabbed the stump and stalled the tractor out. So he's getting swarmed by the bees, and he's trying to jump off the tractor to get away from them and run. And his bootlaces catches on the clutch pedal. So instead of jumping off the tractor, he jumped and broke his leg. So he laid there being swarmed by bees with a broken leg attached to a dead tractor.
I've been stung twice in my life, and that's enough. I guarantee you when I move, I'm going to get stung a million times more, and I'm going to be really pissed about it.
That guy was lucky. His wife, now his ex-wife, but his wife at the time saw what was going on and dialed 911, and the ambulance met him. She cut his bootstring and got him in the car. Yeah.
I was asking if you knew if a series of stings were.
Yeah, that sucks, man. I hate bees.
Oh, what hikers do? Are we being more like bears or cats?
Is that a Kentucky? Is that really? Is that why more people die of?
No, he's asking.
If I know, he's asking.
Yes, asking if.
Yeah, if I knew that a series of stings was, I did not know that. I knew that more people die of spider bites than or snake bites every year. But I didn't know that more people died of stings hiking than anything else. But I get, does it count if you're running from the bees that are stinging you and you jump off a cliff? Because that would bump the numbers in the order or to the side of the bees. Just saying. Or like you jump in the pond to escape the bees and you can still see them, so you hold your breath until you drown. That would kind of go towards the side for the bees too. Hey, look, we're all like little pictures.
Yeah, I got a good question. If you had to bug out, right, and shit hit the fan and got that bad, would you plan on ever trying to come back to your original homestead location? Or would you just say, that's it, if things got that bad, you had to leave? Would you ever try to come back if things settled down? If that is even a possibility.
For me, if something happened and me and the family had to run away from this property and stay gone for 6, 8, 10 months, and I was still anywhere close to the area, I might sneak back by to check on it. But if I was gone longer than that, chances are I would have already, hopefully found someplace else to set up. I mean, I'm not sure that anything I had in PVC tubes or, buried in concrete pill boxes out in the backyard or whatever would be worth the risk of, has somebody found them already? Did somebody like my garden? Are they still there? Are there 20 cannibalistic marauders living in my basement? I don't know if it'd be worth going back for, because we don't have pictures hanging on the walls very much. Well, we got a few about live y'all people. We're not going to come back for knickknacks. We're actually getting, we don't collect much of anything anymore. I do have a really cool set of oil cans and lighter fluid now. Seriously.
Well, I can tell you this. It's going to really take a hell of a lot to push me out of my own property. It would take, like I said, I'm not big on bugging out. I'm set up for it if I have to. Family's trained, set up for it if they have to. but it's going to take a hell of a lot to do that. So if I do, most likely, my opinion, I'm probably going to be not coming back, because if that's the case, it got that bad, I really had to leave. Then to me, that place I'm abandoning it at that point, because it's not going to be that easy. It's not going to be that easy to get for such stuff. Has to really be like extremely catastrophic to get me to leave my location.
Yeah, it becomes it switches from home is where you're at to home is wherever you're breathing. And
exactly.
We're kind of trying to get to that point in our thinking. Because then we'll talk about that in the other topic of discussion or whatever, the whole government thing or whatever. But I don't think that, even biblically, I don't think that there's going to be SHTF and then no return to government. These are going to get bad enough to kill a third of the people on the planet in a matter of months. And then that's what we're prepping for, is for it to get so bad that over a third of the whole world population dies inside of a few months. And then within a few more months, another third of what's left die. That's pretty rough business. And that's, disease and starvation is what we're prepping against. That's, and lack of water. That's what we're prepping against. Our biggest fear here is not cannibalism, but dying of thirst and becoming jerky. We don't, we really are afraid of not having enough water in this part of the world. But I don't know that bugging out is ever going to be a super option. Not here. Now, we've talked about relocating to some place where there's more rain, there's more cover, there's more trees, but you've got to swap. Here we've got good soil. Not all of it, but there are patches on my property and on the property we're trying to acquire that's good garden soil.
Well, that's one of those things, the spot, the place that I purchased is, I got it. What's nice is it's in the middle of nowhere, but I got a lot of woods. There's a lot of, I got a lot of game, got a lot of game around and stuff like that. And the climate is, that part of Virginia it's warmer, but it's similar. It's still similar climate to New York in a sense that we still get a little more of the sea longer. But my biggest fear down there is I worry more about, I think the water, there's so many people. It's desolate if it makes sense, but there's also a lot of, most people can't find the place on the map, like people around here. But down there, because it's hunting ground and there's a lot of big game down there, I always wonder how long it's going to last. Especially comes winter time, it gets bitter cold. And then, you're going to sit outside in 20 below zero to shoot a deer for dinner. I mean, you would if you had to, but things start becoming very, very difficult at that point. I think the climate, again, is something that I think a lot of people need to take in consideration when they're bugging in and or bugging out. Food, I think food would still be a major concern of mine, especially because I can't garden for shit to save my life. So, that's I think that and water, because it's all well water down there. What if you get a dry spell? You're going to go through your water really quick. I don't care where you are if you get a dry spell. People really underrate the importance of having water storage.
Yeah, see, I was thinking water storage the other day. I mean, it's the rainy season here now, right? And I've had to watch tons of water run down my driveway and go down to the draw, which dumps into a creek, which runs out and goes to a lake some 74 miles away. it's hard to imagine that the rain that falls on my roof winds up in a lake 74 miles away, but it does. So, you know, if I won the lotto tomorrow, what would I do? I'd flip and put in water storage. I'm serious. First thing I'd do. I'd buy well, I'd have a wooden windmill tower built that looked like it was built in the 1950s. I'd have it built crooked and twisted so it looked like it didn't work, so nobody would come messing with me. I would
That's a good idea,
have
Wes.
some way to seriously, and I hate seeing stuff like this on YouTube because I don't want people to know what I'm thinking. I keep cans of flat black spray paint. And, you know, my house is visible from a highway. I mean, it's a good little step, but you can see this house from the highway. I intend on spray painting burn marks above every window in my house on the outside. I want it to look like this place is burnt. And
it's a great idea. You know, the less obvious you are, the more likely you'll be to be left alone.
yep. And I got double pane windows. The outside pane is being broken. The end. You know, gonna hang, you know, fake skeletons in the trees and look like the marauders have already been here or something. Last thing I want is I mean, you don't want people coming to your house. You don't. But then when I picture
I don't know. You don't want to be that guy in a big house with the big fancy gates around, because then they know you got something to protect. They're gonna come for your ass.
Yep. All those people, and I know you've never been to Texas, I don't guess. But if you ever make it to Dallas, don't go to Dallas. Drive north of Dallas and look at all those little ranchettes out there with all the big mansions and little private rivers and ponds, and those people are going to die. They're going to be overrun, and all their stuff's going to be taken away. All their little hand-fed catfish and stuff in the little ponds and stuff, they're going to be eaten inside of months. I mean, there ain't going to be nothing left.
Oh, yeah, I'm coming for that catfish.
So is everybody else. It's pretty up there. Trust me, that little area right above between Dallas and Denton Moore is pretty. It's like fairy tale land, or it's like Hobbiton only with mansions. All the grass.
Wayne, Wes. Oh, sorry, Mrs. West. Everybody, I gotta hop off. I got some family to attend to.
All right.
Oh,
have a good night.
okay.
No, nothing major. But it's that time of night for me, because I got the baby.
Got the baby. We'll give the baby a kiss.
On here, I'm glad I could.
You blinked out.
Oh. Well, if you're still listening, have a good night, Matt. It was good talking with you.
To Wayne, Wes, everybody else in the chat, even though I can't see the chat for some reason. But everybody have a good night, and I'll catch you guys all again soon. It was good talk tonight, Wes. Good topic.
Yep. God bless, brother. Have a good one. Love you,
Bless
family.
you, man. Love you guys too, man. Take care.
All righty. It's just you and me. Oops, I was going to let that. Go ahead.
So you're talking. My situation is kind of unique because I'm going to be like right now on the island. Where I'm at, if it comes down to a fight, I'm not going anywhere because of the people I have around me and my neighbors. We all know how to handle business, so I'm fighting down to the end. But the place down in California, we're getting out ahead of the curve. I prefer to bug in, but in that location, I think you're kind of screwed if you bug in. and it's about an 8-hour drive to the property in Arizona. So we're going to try to take the back roads as much as we can and get out there, and hopefully we get there before things go to hell.
That's the trick, is if you have a location you're bugging to, you got to go frog before it hits. I mean, you've got to be like incoming, and you've got to try to beat the poop out of the fan. You know what I'm saying? You want the poop headed towards the fan while you're headed away from wherever you're at. If you've got a BOL, ideal. I mean, that's perfect. But, and this has been talked about before, if you wait until the poop has hit the fan, have you waited too long? Chances are, yeah. And that's why my biggest fear, and I still think this is the way it's going to work. It's going to be a series of things. It's going to be something that creeps up on us over years, and we're literally not going to see. Well, some of us are going to see it happening. The majority of people are not going to see the feces hit the air redistribution device. It's just not going to happen. We're not going to see it coming.
Well, and it depends on how bad it gets too, because you can look at disaster areas all the way back as far as the fall of the Weimar Republic, when Germany fell and the Republic went to hell. All their highways in Europe in that area for 20 miles on each side of the highway, when people left the cities, they pillaged everything. Everything was destroyed. And then you got places like Argentina in the 90s where they went through their economic collapse. It wasn't as bad as the Venezuelan one right now, but it was like living in a bad part of Chicago or Detroit for a few years. The whole place was just messed up, full of crime, people getting robbed, mugged, shot. So there's different levels to it, and you don't know what it's going to be until you get there.
Yeah, and that's, you don't. Everybody wants to say, "Oh, it can be fixed. Oh, we can." You know, I mean, nobody really. Well, very few people have a defeatist attitude. And they're all holding on. Oh, we can pull out of this. We can pull out of this. We can pull out of this. We've been taught for years to have a positive attitude, to see what you want to happen, to push for your goals, you know, believe you can do it, yada, yada, yada. The little train going up that hill, and that the little train who could, or whatever, the little engine that could, or whatever, dude, you're way past your safety limits. Your gasket's blown. You're going back down the hill. I mean, and you're going down fast. You know, you should have made 2 trips, kind of deal. But it's too late. You didn't fix everything. This new phrase going around, collapsatorian or whatever. Have you heard that one?
Collapsatorian?
Yeah.
Haven't heard that one yet.
It's people that actually want things to fall apart. I don't want things to fall apart. I know they're going to. I don't know if it's going to be today, tomorrow, or in 20 years, 40 years, 50 years. I don't know how much longer it can hold together. I don't want it to fall apart, because it's usually the poor people that die, and I'm not exactly middle class. So
Yeah. It's having a plan is huge too, like Matt was talking about. Right now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get the weather operator, because she works on the other side past downtown by the water, and we're all the way outside. So I'm thinking selling my Harley and getting a dual sport type of motorcycle, like a KLR 600. If anything goes down, I could do my best to blast across town, because I could ride through the desert and get around traffic and everything else. Get her on that and then get back to the house.
Just it drives me nuts. My son's talking about getting rid of his oversized motorcycle, which I was like, yeah, hey, man, that's too big to do anything. He wants to get a bigger one. But the BMW, and they're not the only ones, but I really like the BMW touring bikes or whatever. They're high center of gravity. They've got a better suspension. They've got a tighter turning deal. They're a street bike that you can take off road. They make all this, they don't call them enduros, they call them touring bikes. And they're tough as nails, something like that. And I don't even think do they make enduros still? They are enduro style motorcycles, the street legal dirt bikes.
Yeah, they still make them. They make enduros and make dual sports, which are like touring bikes. I rode enduros for a long time. When I had my first enduro when I was like 13. That's what we ride on all the switchbacks and the dirt roads and the logging trails up here in the mountains.
Yes. And H&X Media, welcome to the lobby. And yeah, the three-wheeler pedal bikes, I've actually considered that in a urban setting or way post collapse or something. Those would be kind of cool. For me, I do not want to pump a three-wheeler from here to town to get a gallon of milk and back, because I'm gonna drink the whole thing. But getting to town would be bad, but coming back home would kill you. Well, there's that one little spot down there where you can get like some speed up and come up. Only problem is you don't want to go too fast on a three-wheeler because you'll wipe out and you'll die. But I actually have a 10-speed Schwinn out there that I know how to ride, but the cramps I got after the last time I rode it to town and back, I parked it and I haven't moved it since. I bit off a little more than I could chew, and it scares me.
That's
I literally just put in 20, 30 miles a day like it wasn't nothing.
That's something I'd like to get back into is mountain bike riding. I figure if we bug out in the vehicle out to the property, we could throw the bikes in the back in case the car goes down for some reason.
Bicycles make sense. And honestly, if I was going to go with something like a mountain bike or whatever, I would probably go with an oversized BMX bike. I actually used to build them because my sons were always riding these little 20 inchers and I couldn't do it. So I built my own 24-inch BMX bike, these big old cranks on it. Couldn't keep up with them in the long haul because they could go faster than me, but I could ride that puppy all day long. Quite literally, the coolest bike I ever had was a John Deere 3-speed. I loved that thing. It was easy to ride. It was comfortable. I didn't know it was worth anything. I gave it away, blah, blah, blah. But even bicycles wear out. That's the thing. I mean, do you know how to work on your bicycle? Do you know how to rob parts off of one bike and put them on another bike? Shifters and those shifter cables break all the time. The brake shoes wear out. You get flats. You bend wheels. You go down on a Schwinn at 30, you need bike repair. I mean, you need to grow some skin, but you also need to fix your bike because you broke something. Well, that's been my experience anyway.
Yeah, bike repair is not too difficult to learn. But, that would be a last resort. If we had a problem with the vehicle and I couldn't get it running again, which I can get most things running, and we'd switch to the bikes. That's something I was considering, was getting a little one of those little carrier things that hook up to your trailer hitch, so I could carry some extra fuel and throw the bikes on that.
You see, that's a good plan or whatever. The little kennel carrier or whatever that you can put on there. That's what they were originally designed for. You could put the little deal on there, and then you put your, basically, it was the cruelest thing I've ever seen in life. You put your dog on the back end of your car and you haul butt. I'm like, yeah, what'd the dog do to you? People figured out that wasn't cool, and they started using it for everything else. Around here, all you see is there'll be 4 or 5 Coleman coolers or whatever bungee down, and what do you call it? Folding chairs or tents or something like that, and they'll be headed for the lake. Poor little or what do you call it? Explorer is about to blow out all 4 tires because they got so much gear on it, and they're going for like one day.
I mean, I think I got a pretty good bug out plan, because we keep our camping gear in Rubbermaid totes, and most of our camping gear is into 2 big totes. So it only take me 10 minutes to throw that in the car with our bags and get out of the house. If we need to, we can be out in like 10 or 15 minutes, realistically. But I think grabbing one of those little trailer hitch dealies would be pretty good.
And depending on whether or not you can weld, you can build one pretty quick.
Yeah, that's another thing. You can build a lot of stuff if you weld.
Dude, you could, depending on what you're expecting to carry in it or whatever, you could what do you call it? The erector set stuff. You can go down to Tractor Supply and buy stuff with all the holes already drilled in it and a bunch of bolts and stuff. You don't have to be a welder. You just have to, remember, I was a kid once and I wanted to be an engineer, and you could build this. I mean, you can do this. It's not going to be all pretty and painted black, or what do you call it, powder coated or whatever, but guess what? It's going to work.
Yeah. Big Charles threw out a question in the chat. Now that winter's here, what changes have you made to your BOV or BOV?
Now that winter is here, what changes have I made to my bug out bag? I put more clothes on. Seriously, that's all I do. I do not have a winter and a summer bug out bag. I know that sounds retarded, but I live in Texas. Okay. I'm going to be wearing what I need to be, especially at my house. I mean, in the wintertime, if it's 32 degrees outside, it's only going to be like 60 in my house. All I'm trying to do is keep from freezing to death. I am not fixing to make the man rich by running my heat all winter long. And that way, when I go outside, it's 60 degrees in the house. When I go outside, 32 degrees don't feel all that bad. And then when I come inside, 60 degrees feels pretty good. As opposed to it having to go outside in the 30-degree weather and then coming inside and go, ooh, and hitting the thermostat and turning up to 78. I used to do HVAC. It was the craziest thing. People would call me all summer long saying the AC just isn't keeping up. I would get there. The thermostat would be set on 66. Okay, it's 102 degrees outside. The thermostat is set on 66. It's 67 in the house, and they're complaining that it won't shut off. They're in shorts and a t-shirt, fuzzy socks, laying on a couch under a blanket. And you just want to slap them. And these are true stories. and not just a particular person. 10 or 15 calls a week to people who couldn't get it down to 66 so they could wear a snuggie while they watch TV. Seriously? Yes, this happens.
Yeah.
People are going to die badly in SHTF because the thermostat's not good. They're going to sit there and they're going to try to dial their service tech, and they're going to keep slapping the thermostat because the AC won't come on. They're going to die staring at their blank screen on their thermostat.
As bad as it sounds, I'm a big proponent of natural selection. So if people want to die in stupid ways, so be it.
Yeah. What is it? What is that you always say, Honey? To take the warning labels off the bottles and let it happen? Or take the warning labels off everything and let it happen?
Just let it happen. Then we wouldn't have to deal with it.
Like the signs on the chainsaws, the other end of this will cut your arm off. Yeah, think.
I don't do a whole lot different in winter. I already keep a set of Gore-Tex and a set or two of thermals in my vehicle with my get home bag year round because of the way the weather changes all the time here. The only difference is I'll already be wearing jeans, a wool shirt, a field jacket, and a wool hat. So if I had to either use my get home bag or if I had to potentially bug out in the winter, I already have my stuff ready.
Now, my bug out, my grab your gear and run thing does change in the wintertime. I do have a set of insulated bib overalls that I intend on grabbing when I'm headed out the door. I annoy my wife with them because they stay in the living room all winter long. I want them right there. I want them handy. Actually, I annoy my wife with a lot of stuff, but she's getting better. She's starting to calm down a little bit. She's not as high strung as she used to be. She's not listening to me. Oh.
I'm ignoring you.
Anyway, okay. Dadgummit, Matt didn't get to get on this other one. I want to jump over to this one. I don't know how long we've been in here, an hour, but before we run completely out of time, West Wind. I've got a very important question. Assuming, and here's the scenario, world without rule of law has beset the globe. The proverbial S has hit the fan. It is time for everybody to stay home this Friday. We are no longer living on terra firma, but Tiawaki. All of the governments globally and the top 1%ers have moved into underground cities and bunkers. They have massive resources and they're ready for the long haul. They can stay down there 2-3 years. What do we do about that as us surface dwellers? What do we do about them?
Well, there's not a whole lot you can do about that at that point, but hope that you're in a good location.
Be creative. Oh, I read all the comments on this one. I was loving it. There were some good ideas.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where
Purely hypothetical.
You're on your own. Hope you're in a good location. And where I'm at, nobody has any business being up where we're at. It's a little mountain range surrounded by deserts. The locals don't even know where it is. So if somebody comes rolling up the dirt road where I'm at, I'm putting a 338 through their block.
Well, you're rude. So your plan is to just isolate yourself and let them take over my world. After I finally get to become emperor of the planet, you're just going to leave me out on a limb and have to defend myself against the people under the mountain. No, there was people, they come up with all kinds of stuff. Find all the entrances, and while they're down there hiding and stuff, you just go and commandeer, cement trucks, and just start dumping cement on the doors and stuff so they can't get out. I'm like, well, okay, that makes all sense in the world. They can't take over, and eventually they'll starve to death, but they've got lots of stuff down there. Who's going to bust all that concrete out of the way to get to it after they finally die? The only thing going to be left down there is some stinking bullets and, guns with little maggot husks laying all over them and stuff. But
if you wanted to do something about it, I think you'd be better off waiting until they come out, because when they try to come out, they'll be low on resources if they have any left.
Was that the thing? There was a couple of guys. Well, just set up and wait for them to open the doors, and just mow them down as they try to come out. These are underground cities. Chances are the first thing through that door, well, there's going to be these little tiny holes open up that nobody knows are there. And there's going to be these guys come out. I don't know what you call them, first recon type dudes or something. The brainwashed little people that they took with them to keep them safe are going to come out and check. All the people that are hardcore not CIA, what is it, Secret Service kind of people or whatever, that think the government is, it's their duty to God to keep them alive. Kind of people are going to be coming out and checking everything out, and they're going to know to roll out with the Abrams first and mow down everybody outside the thing. I don't know if there's anything we can do.
There's always stuff you can do if you're organized. You wait for them all to come out, let them get settled. Just like anything else, you don't want to attack them right away, so they'll pop back under the bunker. Just like if your house is getting overrun, do you stay and fight, or do you let them take it and then come back once they get settled?
Yeah, I don't seriously. I agree with your original deals. I don't think there's a whole lot of anything you could do about it. Because we as a prepping community, as survivalists, neo-pioneers, whatever, modern homesteaders, whatever you want to call yourself, we can't get organized now when we've got telephones and computers and the YouTube and email and snail mail and all these different forms of communication. We can't agree on a course of action now. How are we going to do it after? And in order to organize something like that, wouldn't there have to be a government already? So all we're doing is our government's trying to fight their government. Let's say it's a war that causes this. We basically just, when they try to come out from under the deal, we just continue the war with our own people, or what used to be our own people. It's, now, I'm not saying go get on the FEMA trucks either, because trust me, them FEMA trucks ain't taking you under the mountain. That's not what they're there for.
Them FEMA people better not come by my place.
Was that one comedy thing that was going around a few years ago? Yo, bus is here. I don't know, man. Depends. Like if it's a Bluebird, I might get on it. Just because I ain't never rode a Bluebird yet. But I don't know. I don't think there's anything you can do about it. Do you believe in the underground city thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think they have underground bunkers to, it's part of continuity of government. But I don't know about underground cities and lizard people digging the tunnels and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
I don't buy into the lizard people and stuff, but personally, I find it feasible that they have dug out enough earth under strategic locations to house, million people easy, million people and supplies for several. I don't know how many. I'm gonna give them maybe 20 years. I think they could probably keep 1 million people underground for 20 years here in the U.S. And that's just me taking a stab at it. I have the little pieces of video and uh, photos and stuff like that that I've found in my hours of research when I was down and out and staring at YouTube all the time.
I think if they tried to keep that many people underground, they'd be killing each other within 4 months.
Well, that's why I think there would technically be room for supplies for more, but I think that's why they're so spacious is because I don't think it's going to be like living in prison for 20 years with no sun. I fully believe they're going to have, I'd give them tennis courts, indoor swimming pools, movie theaters. I think they've got the whole gambit, man. They'll have theater. I mean, come on. Why did Hollywood? There cannot be that many stupid people in acting. Okay, cannot be that many stupid people in the movie industry. Okay, they're those people are on the boat because we're the ones that are going to entertain them while they're down there. It's going to be our job. Uh, I guess you can only watch the same movie so many times, but if you've got live theater or whatever going on, it wouldn't be that bad. Anything to break the monotony or whatever.
I give it 4 months just from my experience on Navy ships and on deployments. The 4 month mark is when everyone starts going mental and losing their mind.
Yeah, that's possible. But you got to remember on the ships or whatever, you were really limited. I've never been on one, but I mean, you hear my brother and him talk about it. It's pretty limited space. Kind of like very limited space. There's less space on a ship than there is in prison. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because you don't have, what is it called? You don't have a rec area. You don't have a yard to go to.
Well, carriers have some open areas and stuff on them. So do LHDs, like the landing ships and stuff. But it's that 4 month mark. Something happens to the human psyche at that point if you're not outside and doing stuff. So I always laugh when they study. Last deployment I was on was when they had that all the Mars stuff was in the news, and they were trying to figure out. They were trying to pick this perfect politically correct team of astronauts of different races and different ages, and put them together on a ship and send them to Mars. And they talk about how experiments like this with people being isolated together has never happened before, and we're on the boat laughing about it.
Yeah. Oh, really? That's like, what's that? The thing where the people tried to live in the bubble for so long or whatever. built a bubble somewhere in a desert or something like that.
A biodome.
Yeah. I mean, that didn't even work, did it? And people were all like, I mean, they got stupid after just a couple of months too, huh?
There was an episode of the Twilight Zone like that too.
Um,
I was just watching that recently. They got all the old Twilight Zone episodes on Netflix.
really?
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta write that down. I would never watch that kind of stuff. That stuff will kill your brain. Was it the don't adjust your horizontal and your vertical, blah blah blah? Is that one? I love that show.
The one where the dude he wakes up or he gets out of his car at the gas station and like he's in this town and nobody's there. And it's kind of like the Andromeda strain. He's trying to find everyone. And then it turns out they were doing an isolation experiment and he had completely lost his mind after so many hours or days.
And hold on a minute, Chipper, not the Dumb and Dumber one, man. Not that movie about the biodome, but like they actually tried a biodome thing. I remember it in the news. I think either that or that might have been when I was like, could be completely wrong. I don't know.
Savage made a good point there. You start going stir crazy and mental, and you just wait for S to hit the fan.
You know, I wonder if that's some of why everybody is anticipating SHTF. Why there's so many people out there actually hoping that SHTF happens because they've been anticipating it for so long. They've been setting and waiting for it for so long that they're actually starting to go stir crazy, waiting on it to happen. So they start and looking for every possibility and then switch over to becoming collapsatorians and actually looking for things to do to accelerate it. You know, you got guys shooting up mosques. You've got guys attacking churches, guys shooting schools. You got people in all the conspiracy theories about what actually happened on it aside. You know, people flying airplanes into buildings, you know, people attacking transformers strategically throughout the continental United States have never made it on the news. Stuff like that. How many people in the chat have heard, I mean, from the mainstream media has heard where President Trump actually said, and I quote, "I told them to treat rocks like rifles." I mean, it's gotten that sticky. I mean, supposedly he gave the armed forces permission to return fire with their rifles if they so much as throw a rock at them. I heard him say it.
If he did say it, he's 100% right. A fist-sized rock hitting you in the head can kill you.
He said it. He said it twice in the same speech.
Last year, a Border Patrol agent died because he got hit in the head with a rock.
Yep. Oh, I've had rocks thrown at me, man. I've had rocks hit me.
That's about the only thing the Iraqis can hit with.
They got Mexicans got army and stuff in the hospital and stuff right now from them rocks and stuff down there on their border.
Yeah.
Um, was it siege warfare or whatever? I mean, the parapets and the walls and stuff. There were literally baskets upon baskets of golf ball, or not golf ball, bowling ball sized rocks, bowling ball to watermelon sized rocks up there. That when the guys got close enough to the walls, they didn't shoot arrows at them. I mean, you were lucky with an arrow if it didn't hit the plate and it could, hit something that it would go through. You could chuck a rock off of that wall, and if it hit somebody, they were out of the fight.
Yeah, they just chuck rocks at them at that point.
And rocks are no joke. Bricks are no joke.
I was playing around with a sling last summer. I made a shepherd's sling, and I wasn't very accurate with it, but I could hit hard.
Something they pulled down that, and those shepherd, kudos to you. I can't make them work. But something that you can't find anymore is that the thing where the guy made this algorithm that would follow the web, and it could predict what was going to happen. Remember, you used to be able to find the predictions online or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that. I can't remember what it was called.
But you can't find it anymore, dude. They don't let whatever the findings go public anymore. I wonder why.
What do you think about QAnon? We didn't talk about that, I don't think, last or a couple weeks ago.
No, I don't know. I don't know, dude. I don't know if it's a setup or if it's just somebody playing games, or I don't know if it's Alex Jones just messing around with people.
Yeah, that QAnon thing, even though I don't know if it's set up on one side to divide us or if they're actually trying to do good, but blindly following some random person or group of people who I don't know doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah. The QAnon, I don't know. I just don't. It's too cryptic.
Yeah, that too. It's really cryptic, and some of the stuff seems all right on it, and then it just wants you to blindly follow ideas, and I don't know if that's to push people further to the right or what's going on with that. It's kind of weird.
I don't know. I don't know if in the whole right left thing, I'm moving away from because I'm not politically. If you've got your left, you've got the far left, and you've got the far right, then you've got, I think, conservatives and liberals. Liberals are stuck somewhere between the far left and the middle of the road, and conservatives are stuck somewhere between the far right and the middle of the road. I'm not a libertarian because I don't believe that the human animal is capable of governing itself. I've never seen any, but now individuals, if you gave each if they wouldn't go stir crazy, if you built little beehives, walls all over the planet, you split every piece of dirt up in 40-acre honeycombs, and you put each person in that little honeycomb or whatever, or each family in that little honeycomb, and let them live by their own specific set of rules, I don't even think that'd work. Somebody in the family get pissed off at somebody else. I don't think the human animal can govern itself. I don't think we're capable of doing. So a country with nothing but liberties and no government, no laws, can't stand. And saying that any law that infringes on my liberty defends, if you're going to go that far, Charles Manson. In a libertarian society, we have infringed upon his liberties because he thought it was his right to do what he did. So you've already negated the possibility of a libertarian society, because no, we had to make it against the law to kill somebody and do all that gross stuff to them. Even though it infringes upon the liberties of another individual. So yeah, there's no way. I mean, anarchy doesn't work.
Well, anarchy doesn't work, but the original system, the Constitution, everything was designed to put us as close to anarchy as possible.
The constitutional republic that our forefathers founded was intended to give everybody a say in their own government. And it is as close as you're going to get to an anarchical society where we govern ourselves based on rules that we make up or establish. The difference is we made the mistake as citizens of running through and wanting to grab as much as we could for ourselves out of our country's economy and then not do anything back. Out of all the millions of people in this country, there are very few that run for political office because they know it's good for the country. Or good, they don't run for political office because they know they can do something as county commissioner or the county judge. The people that run want the money or the power. They're not interested in making a better place. They're looking to bump themselves up. I mean, it's it falls back to the same thing, the same reason I don't think we can self-govern ourselves is because there has to come a point in self-governance where your country, where your fellow citizens become equally valuable to you. And therein lies the problem because of the human animal. It's me, me, me. Me, me, me is, this is the only thing, and nothing in DNA, nothing in archaeology, nothing makes me believe that we evolved from monkeys. The only thing that makes me think that we might have had a common ancestor back there sometime before the flood, or I don't know, is when you put a whole crap ton of food out there and all the chimps or gorillas or orangutans or monkeys or whatever run out there and scoop all this stuff up and run over there and put it in a pile and try to fight all the other ones off of it. There's no way that guy can eat all of that. and or the same the how you catch a monkey. You put a piece of fruit in the bottom of a jar. The monkey will reach in there and grab the food and will not let go. And you just walk up and put him in the sack because he will not let go of what he's got his hand on because it's his now. You know, those are the only two things that make me believe we have a common ancestor.
The Obama phone people.
I mean, the people, I mean, every human being out there shares those characteristics. If you don't believe me, go to the Golden Corral. They're not going to run out of food. Calm down. So, now I'm being mean and hateful and ugly and lumping people into the same group and speciesly profiling everybody and stuff. And I'm a bad person for it, even though I'm right. Oh. Guys, I'm gonna do the video on these things tomorrow. I got I don't know if y'all seen Spicy's little whatchamacallit, these Viter energy mint things or whatever, Viter energy deals. I've tried to give them a fair shake. Those things are horrible. They're pretty good for the first like 5 minutes, and then they start getting chalky, and it's like trying to keep a Tums in your mouth or something for like a really long time. And then after they're gone, you can taste like the saccharin for a really long time. Now, one thing I have figured out, if you will, after about half gone, when they start feeling chalky in your mouth, spit it out.
It's like the old zebra gum.
Oh gosh, zebra gum is horrible.
Yes, I love that stuff. For the first 5 seconds, it was delicious.
A minute into it, you're like, why did I do this?
How you know I'm popping pills? It's not pills anyway. It's just Viter energy things or whatever. This is gross. They asked if they could send them to me. I said, yeah, but trust me, it's going to be a, what do you call it? An honest review. They're not horrible, but I have to rate them against what I would take, or not take, but use as a mint. And for starters, I don't want caffeine in my candy. But hey, that sounds like a pretty cool idea, and actually it is. And I guess for a prepper thing, they'd be all right because they sure do. Just make sure you got water. They make me thirsty as all get out.
Do they wake you up?
No. Because that's the first two I ate. I ate in the morning and just had a little bit of water or whatever. The mint lasts about as long as a cup of coffee, but you only get half a cup of coffee with caffeine.
Mm.
So I pop the other, and that's do not chew them. Okay? Do not chew the mint. Really bad idea.
I like getting those. You ever see those? What are they called? Turbo truffles?
No, I hadn't heard of them.
Or rocket chocolate. I think that's what they are. I get those at the gas station.
Oh, the rocket. Now I have seen that. No, they call them something else here, but they're like little chunk of X-Lax looking stuff or whatever, but it's like chocolate candy with caffeine in it.
Yeah, have like two of them with a cup of coffee, man. They work great when you're driving.
Yeah. Those are those little energy packets or whatever. These actually got a lot of stuff in them. And like I say, I mean, they might, you know, if I think they screwed up on them if they're sugar free. If they'd in our, what do you call it? Circle. We don't want a zero Why would I pack something that has 0 calories in it? I mean, you're taking something that's going to boost your energy level that has no energy supply in it. But,
Yeah.
and they make your tongue go to sleep, people. I can't do a review on these things. I can't. I told them I wouldn't bash them. I'm doing it right now. I've got to like delete.
Nobody's ever gonna send you anything again.
I actually got something. Actually a cool email, but the link's broken. I can't answer them. I would have done that one in a heartbeat. The link's broken. It's a legitimate company. I found the company, but I can't reply. So sucks. Because it was actually camping gear. I was like, yeah, I'll do that one.
No, that's pretty cool.
It's actually something I've been considering. I don't really have a lot of use for it here, but it was a hammock. So I'm stingy. I'm not going to go out and drop money on a hammock that I don't know that I can use. But if somebody wants to send me one and I can try it, I'll do that. I'll be right back. Talk to him, Mr. West Wind. Make sure nobody gets bored and stuff.
I'm paranoid of hammocks where we're at with all the juniper trees. You gotta watch out for black widows and scorpions and stuff in the bark. Wouldn't want one coming down my hammock when I'm sitting in it. Evening, wild man.
Confess, I walked away. I had to get some coffee to wash that man out of my mouth. Terrible.
Is it one of those ones that has an aftertaste that just won't go away?
Oh yeah. The sweetener's made out of chlorine, man.
Oh, whatever that fake sugar is.
I'm looking at sucralose. It's actually got B12 and B6 and B9. No, not really. I don't want to be, I know B9 in it. Hopefully it's B9.
That's one thing I keep in my get home bag is caffeine pills. I don't want to get a migraine or something at the wrong time.
Is caffeine startup migraines or ease it up?
For me, it eases them. I'm addicted to it, so if I don't get caffeine, I get migraines.
I know if
And
I don't have caffeine for a little bit, I'll start getting a headache.
I already get migraines from prior head injuries, so that on top of what I already have is not good. So I always try to keep caffeine with my get home and bug out stuff so I can keep a clear head.
Sea Chipper's plug for you taking a road trip.
Oh, he already said I could come stay at his guest house.
Oh, y'all talking smack while I'm over here?
No.
Like, okay, I didn't know if y'all were still rolling on that thing a while ago where you were ignoring me or not. Good night, Grouchy.
Later, Grouchy.
That's Wayne Trump. He's like Donald Trump's nephew. They're high desert. He's very important.
Better hair.
See, he's got a RPG. He's priming it with water. Where's that hand pump at?
That's on top of a mountain, about 2 miles from where we're at. 2 miles to the north.
I say that's crazy. I mean, to me, water's supposed to run downhill, and I mean there are springs up on the side of hills around here. Okay, so I understand that, but how the heck does the water get up in the mountain?
It's a big cistern, so when they get the monsoon rains, there's a cistern dug under there, and it collects water for the year. That's their winter camp. So they would, during the winter, her parents and her grandparents and all her ancestors before there, they would move all their sheep in and keep their sheep up there, and they would build their hogans, and they would have their winter camp up there, and they lived in the shadow of the mountain for the winter, kept them protected, so they weren't stuck out in the open.
Oh, well, that's cool. I was going to do my little dugout shelter thing or whatever, an update on it, but I forgot, and I don't know if it'd still be legitimate to do it. I didn't go back out there with a camera. You know, those of you who watched the video when you could see the holes in it and stuff. The next day, I left it up. The next day, or that night actually, it started raining. It rained from 1 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock the afternoon. There was only a couple of tiny muddy spots in the shelter, and those were from the holes in the tarp. They have any leakage around the edges or stuff. I'm telling y'all, that shelter works. Oh, they're over here planning my day. Who wants to come be me tomorrow? Because I got stuff to do, like not what they're doing.
I got a lot of driving around to do tomorrow.
Yeah, do we just use the screwdriver?
Hey, Steve. Yeah, I know that, but they're lit. I mean, the Cascades are basically water running through the cracks in the rocks. I get that. Okay. But Rocky Mountain spring water, okay, you're freaking, where the hell's the water coming from? Sorry. It's a legitimate question. You're a mile high. Who's pushing the water up? Or is it just snow melt running through the rocks, just like the Cascades, only they just call it a spring? It's not really a spring. It's actually just a leak.
Hopefully next year, Steve. He said within 2 years.
All right, Dustin, you show up, we'll get a beer, buddy. I don't think I probably can't drink with you for too long. I mean, your accent denotes the ability to drink, and I'm married, and my wife don't let me drink like that no more. Not that I couldn't if I wanted to, just saying that I'm out of practice and somebody was going to have to carry me home.
I'd love to take Just 8 on a brewery tour up here.
Oh, no joke.
We got so many breweries, you can throw a rock and skip it off 10 breweries.
Me and a friend of mine, we went on the brewery tour. Got a whole bunch of these little home brew places up in Lubbock. And we went up there, and our wives gave us a hall pass, okay? And we didn't really want to use it, so we just decided to go check out all the bars. And we couldn't find anybody that had decent beer. So I think we finally wound up at the Copper Caboose, and we just drank Coors. We drove like 4 different places. We're like, okay, this is crap. One place forgot that barley. I think you're supposed to put barley in there, and they just made the beer with hops. They just a bunch of flowers. I mean,
Oh,
you
it's
walk,
just-
you open the door, and you couldn't breathe for the smell of the hops in the beer. I'm just like, okay, this is not for us.
Yeah, IPAs. I can't drink those. They got all the hops in them. Hang on, am I echoing?
Not on my end.
Okay, good. Yeah, the beer, it's like almost all hops and the IPAs and stuff. I get like an instant sinus headache when I drink those. It's weird.
The only, I guess, hold on, let me get this right. There are two foreign beers that I enjoy, and there's legitimately enjoy drinking. One of those is Foster's. I really like Foster's beer. The other one is a Canadian beer. It's Molson's. I think it's Molson's. Molson's or Moosehead. I think they're like the same.
You gotta
I
try
haven't
La Fin de Monde.
But
It's a
people drinking that 2X's stuff or whatever, get a life. Buy real beer. Jesus, stuff's nasty.
try La Fin de Monde. It's a French Canadian beer. It's it's a triple Belgium, and it's like the only true Belgium outside of Germany, Belgium area. Stuff's amazing. If you got like a specialty beer store around there, go check it out. They'll probably have it.
And Steve, I like Foster so much. I actually had a Foster's beer sign, beer light or whatever. It got broke. My feelings are really hurt. But they don't sell Foster's in this county anymore. So, and my actual beer of choice is Budweiser Red. I mean, I'm American. Shoot me.
Yeah.
Guinness is tolerable, but I don't like it.
I like the microbrews. I don't drink as much as I used to, so and plus the microbrews generally have a higher alcohol content. A 6-pack will get you to where like an 18-pack of Budweiser will.
Yeah. And you know, the truth be known, I honestly don't drink much. I actually, if I drink now, I actually have a couple of glasses of wine and call it. I mean, I'm keeping my man card, guys, back off. But and yes, it's just sweet red wine. It's like the cheap stuff.
There ain't
And
nothing wrong with red wine. I've had some amazing wines. A lot of different countries that we go to, they do all their own wines in their own vineyards. Croatia and Uruguay had some amazing ones, and they're like really cheap. And then you come back here, and they're expensive.
we have a world-class winery right up the road from us. Well, it's 90 miles up the road. And that's where I get my wine. It's good. We have plenty of sun, and we have good soil, and we make really good grapes in Texas, and we make really good wine. Serious, Texas is a country unto itself. We have mountains, we have swamp, we have desert, we have rolling hills, we got whatever you want. We got it. We got the beaches. Heck, we've got a hostile country to the south. We've got whatever you could possibly desire. We used to have some of the Rocky Mountains too. We gave those up. Dadgummit. We had to do that to get rid of the Panhandle of Oklahoma. You know, we either had to give up the Rocky Mountains or keep the Panhandle of Oklahoma. And, you know, we already had a big Panhandle. So.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, Savage. I've been known to make a batch or two.
There's a guy here local. Well, I guess he's local now or whatever. He's actually from New Hampshire. That man can make beer. Dude. He makes a beer with molasses that it'll kill you. Yeah. I had a 12-ounce glass. It was cold and it was good, delicious. So I had another one, and I'm like, cool, that's just 2 beers. I'm good to go. Walk outside, inhale some air, and realize that you're lit. What in the world? And then he explains to you the recipe, and you're like, okay, so what proof is that? So apparently adding sugar and changing your cook time or whatever increases the alcohol content of your beer a lot.
Hey, Rachel's having her baby tomorrow. Congratulations, Rachel.
Who's having a baby? Rachel, you having a baby?
We're inducing her tomorrow.
I feel really bad because nobody told me you were pregnant.
She talks about it every time she's in here. You just don't read.
I don't get to read. I get started talking. I don't pay attention. Congratulations, Rachel, and stuff. I'm guessing that you're not going to name the baby after me. Because
Oh, speaking of cheap beer, I think I was supposed to go to the VFW tonight. I finally got my membership.
hey, I've been sneaking in the VFW since I was 17 years old. It was funny. The drinking age was 18, right?
Yeah.
And I've been going in there. Actually, the first time I walked the door, I was 16. Anyway, I've been drinking in there for over a year. And the guys from work took me in there after work. And the lady behind the counter, she's like, and why are all these guys buying you beer? I said, well, it's my birthday. She goes, oh, happy birthday. How old are you? I said, 18. She was a little upset with me. But anyway. Man, you never asked. I never told you. Man, I was working full time. I was, out there working with real grown men, so I guess she figured I was grown.
Yeah.
I say real grown men. They were all a bunch of they were legal drinking age, I guess. Some of them 30s and 40s and stuff, but they were all just as much boys as I were. Them were crazy people, man. Guys I used to run with, I can't believe I made it this long.
Yeah, I grew up working construction and logging from the time I was 13, so I used to run with a rough bunch too.
Yep. One of the guys I run with, his name was Wes too. And we'd walk in together, it'd be the Wes and Wes, and it was just, yeah. We got asked not to come back a couple of times.
I used to go to the Mexican bars because I never ID'd. I walk in there from the time I was 13 on. They would never ask your ID.
Yeah. Unnamed town up the road or down the road at the time, you could go in there. I mean, it's a $1.25 of beer, but they had a pool table and a jukebox, and invariably about 9:30 every night the guy would break out food, and you could eat a little bit, and then about 11 o'clock he was telling you had to go. But yeah, the good old days are gone, man. When people,
Bulletproof, you thought?
I was bulletproof.
That's what you thought.
The bullets bounced off of me. They would leave holes in my clothes, not a mark on me.
Yeah. Last couple of years, I'm definitely starting to realize I ain't bulletproof.
Yeah.
Everything's catching up to me.
There's that. See, now you got my wife on me.
Oh, you don't need help with that.
That's true. Yes, honey. When I was younger, I was less intelligent than I am now. It's called wisdom. Comes with age.
I wouldn't say wisdom. Things just start to hurt more and you don't do them anymore.
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way. I know better now. A little late, but I know better. You know, there's a lot of times when I said, hold this, or hold my beer and watch this, was not the best choice of things to do. I use that Mora you sent me in a video that I still have not. I'll start it uploading tonight. It's a
Okay,
long
cool.
video for all you people that are going to whine about it. You don't want to watch it, don't watch it.
How'd it work out for you?
I really liked it.
I left the burrs on the spine so it grabs the ferro rod good.
Well, I'm not finished with the tool yet, but I actually made a Adelaide Dart chunker,
Oh, nice.
or I'm working on it, and I use this to do the debarking and some of the finer work on it. Part 1, I'm gonna upload it tonight, and because apparently digging a hole in the ground and putting a blue tarp over it and cooking dead animals and making stuff out of sticks and stuff is what people want to see. I'm not going to make any more chicken videos until I figure out how to make chickens lay eggs.
Yeah. You can't just scare them like goats.
Dude, we really think that they were chemically sterilized.
That sucks, man.
Yep.
You can't even eat them at that point.
Yep. All the and see all that chicken that I canned, the videos of the chicken, and I canned more after that. I canned that much again. No, twice that much again of the birds, because we thought, there's too many. They're overstressing, yada yada yada. We harvested a lot of the birds, and I canned it. Now, if there's toxins in the meat, I wasted all of that energy and everything. I wasted all that time and that money on meat that's not safe for consumption.
Yeah, it's that really sucks. That's not good at all.
And it was a government program. I thought it was a private spray or whatever, but it falls into that boll weevil eradication deal. They
Well, the scariest words in English language.
what's that?
I said, the scariest words in English language from the government, here to help you.
Yeah, from the government, we're here to help you. I know you've spent the last 3 years getting this established where you're making, 3 dozen eggs a day and the chickens are paying for themselves finally, but we're going to take all that away in one about 20 passes.
Ooh, Bo has a good question. We need to do another tinfoil hat night one of these days so we can bring up some of this other stuff that we went off track on.
Boski, that is a good question. They're already working on it, I think.
I think they're trying to force us into a digital system, like a Bitcoin type of system. That way they can tax and control everything. And if you don't pay your taxes, then they can just cut you off.
Think about it. I mean, everybody's like, oh, Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that. No, don't go Bitcoin. That's just them trying to take. I mean, Bitcoin is the perfect thing. It would be the worldwide currency. Okay. It's all electronic. It'd be like Star Wars. Okay. It's credits. there's no such thing as gold or jewels or anything like that. The only thing of worth is digital credits. You go in, you put in your 40 hours, you get X number of credits for it. Okay. You don't even know how much you don't want to know how much your company is paying the government to be in business while they're working you for the number of Bitcoins you get every week for whatever. I mean, the more electronic records keeping and money becomes, the less control you have over your own economic success or failure. When money becomes digital, you are fully owned. You might as well heat the iron yourself and stick property of the United States government on your butt because you are owned. There. That's my opinion. And seriously, I tried to refuse my new bank card, because it has a chip in it. Awkward silence.
Yeah.
Oh, who's out? Later, Steve. We'll have to get it set up. We'll have to get up.
Oh, I didn't realize I was my mic was turned off.
That's fine. I'm trying to get the Revolted Man in here. I'm going to have to do a hangouts with him in private and get him broke in on this thing or whatever. And I don't know. I think he might be, if you get him set off, as long as we stay off the militia, be fine. But if we can just do, I think he'd be fun in tinfoil hat or whatever.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit while I was there.
There's so many things there. After we did that, I was saying all these other things I was thinking about, like we didn't even scratch the surface on that. There's so many ridiculous conspiracies out there.
It's crazy, man. I mean, and some of them I buy into, some of them I don't. You know, like the underground cities, totally plausible. Oh, I'm sorry, totally plausible. Probable even. Not only plausible, probable. Because, well, if I was filthy rich and wanted to keep control of the planet and knew I'd screwed it all up so I could get to the point where I was at, I'd build an underground city and wait out all the debt. So yeah, that works for me. There's some of it like the Nirabu, and you know, we really don't need to go into all that again. You know, I was worried about it there for a little while, but if it was really going to happen, it would have already blown up. Just stayed really smart because he believes me when I say that the planet is not the same size. And me and him agree the planet is not the size they're telling us. I just don't. The math don't add up. I'm terrible at math, but I can add, and it doesn't add up. So.
Yeah, the grand solar minimum. I don't think we talked about that, and that's one I don't quite understand what's going on with that one.
That one actually does make sense too, and that's not a. I don't know if that falls into a tinfoil hat thing or not. That's basic science. Rob needs to be in here for this one. You know what? We'll hold off on this because that's Rob's forte right there. Rob follows that stuff for like cotton candy at the fair. He likes that one. He actually follows the solar weather. I can give you a real quick on the grand solar minimum. The sun has seasons, just like the Earth does. Ours is caused by the tilt of the planet. The sun, I believe, what they believe is that it's caused by what's going on in the middle of the sun. Sometimes the sun is hotter, and then it gets colder, and then it gets hotter, and then it gets colder. And it goes through cycles. It's trackable with the data that they've got. They've been able to establish the solar cycles.
Mm-hmm.
There are solar maxims and solar minimums.
Okay, I thought you weren't getting into that.
Oh,
Just saying.
just saying. Well, I don't know a lot. I don't know nearly. This is for y'all's own research purposes, and I'm not actually getting into this very deep. But anyway, the grand solar minimum, which is what they believe, several people, not all of them, believe is coming, is what caused the ice age that allowed us to have giant woolly elephants in the Americas. We'll see.
I bet you elephant wool would make some good sweaters.
Yeah, I believe it would. It comes with a built-in trunk. Sorry. Did you ever read Clan of the Cave Bears?
What?
Clan of the Cave Bears. It's like the kind of stuff I used to read before I started reading SHTF books. If you get past the fact that it was written by a woman that really liked tall guys with wings, it's a pretty good book because it's about how the Cro-Magnon and the Neanderthal and the Homo sapiens and stuff all wound up on the planet at the same time in the same areas and yeah, blah, 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 blah. It was relatively entertaining, like I say, except for the John and Marshall parts. But they, what do you call it? The number of animals that they never taught us about existed in school, even in science and history and all that stuff. There were crazy big animals back then. Apparently,
Yeah. A lot of them were huge.
in like during the Ice Age, the part of the world where we live now was actually lush and green, and there were marshlands and shallow seas all over the place. And that's with more water stored on the ice caps. But it was because of all the flipping rain. And the, what do you call it? The actual the planet rotated, they believe that the planet rotated around a different point. The North Pole wasn't always in the same place.
I have first edition of the whole series.
Well, to find true north, you're like 10 degrees off. So maybe it was true north. Maybe north was actually where north is.
Aaron, that does not surprise me. Yeah, Gene Aul. The movie sucked, but the books were pretty good.
What movie
You're
was
gonna
it?
hear Clan of the Cave Bears.
Okay, I was thinking of Quest for Fire.
No, that was worse than Clan of the Cave Bears. But Anne McCaffrey, the Pern series, those are good books too.
The Purge?
Pern, P-E-R-N. It's
Okay.
they basically they tried to escape SHTF on Earth and went all the way across the galaxy, found another habitable planet, and jumped in. And then guess what? SHTF followed them. They actually have a rogue star and a planet orbiting the same sun as them. And whenever one of the planets gets close enough to them, it actually sheds, the upper atmosphere or the gravitational pull, blah, blah. It sucks these little critters from the one place, and they come over, and the eggs or whatever on re-entry open up, and there's actually a life form in there that eats anything organic, plants, animals, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's, if you're a nerd, it's good reading.
Sounds like the Bangalores. That old Stephen King book.
It's but Anne McCaffrey writes really well. You can see the planet, you can see the wagons, you can see there's dragons. Okay, yes, there's dragons. There's talking dolphins. Yeah, okay. We're getting a little talk about 10-hole full hat.
I need to find a good book to read. As soon as my copy of the Poetic Edda comes in, I'm gonna read that. But I gotta get something else for that afterwards. I haven't read any SHTF books in a while.
Literally, you can usually find all of Anne McCaffrey stuff because these books they came out in the late 70s. You can usually find them at garage sales or resale shops or thrift stores or whatever. I've got most of Anne McCaffrey in hardback now from thrift stores.
I really got to read the second book, the 1 second after.
And that's the who said they had a copy that I could borrow if they found it?
I think that was Rob.
No, somebody on a comment in one of the comments. Oh, Bob, not Bob. Rob. Rob's a generous person. He said after he gets through rereading.
Yeah,
2 hours.
I loaned my copy out. Never got it back, or I'd let you borrow it.
Oh, that's fine. Rob said when he gets through with it, which he don't ever get through with stuff. So I have been given the 2-hour signal. So I've agreed to. I was trying to keep everything under an hour. Didn't happen. Decided, okay, we'll go for 90 minutes. That hasn't happened. I am going to limit myself, if at all humanly possible, to 2 hours. It's fair. So, I really appreciate you coming in, Wayne. I love doing this. This is fun.
Oh yeah, it's fun. I couldn't do it with you before because I was on nights. Now now that I'm working days again, it's nice to be able to get in and talk to people.
And if there's anybody out there that's got any free time or whatever, and y'all want to try something like this, hit me up on an email or whatever, and we'll see if we can work it in. If y'all got any ideas for topics, any tinfoil hat things that we might have missed, which I kind of doubt considering that we're both nerds, or we all are. And every so often, because I made the Friday night time slot may go up and down so that we can get different people in. Okay, like Just Aid was still at work, and I don't know why he never jumped on the link. I probably should have re-invited him, but so bad now. Anyhow, getting off topic. Got any ideas? Let us know. Thank y'all for your time. Thank you for your questions and your input. And if I missed saying, like H&X, I missed saying hey to you. I missed anybody else, I apologize. I'm glad you're here. You got anything you want to tell them, Wayne?
Yeah, thanks for coming in and listening to us ramble on. Congratulations to Rachel. Hopefully your baby comes along with no issues. Thank you, Mrs. S, for letting Wes come and hang out with us. And thank you, Wes, for the invite for the chat. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Yeah, and congrats and good luck and health and happiness to you and your new little one, Rachel. Everybody else, y'all have a good night. Be blessed. Stay alive, don't die. I gotta find the button. All right. Love ya.